If you're struggling to burn stubborn fat, feeling like your metabolism has slowed down, you're not alone. Every day, women ask me how to boost their fat burning potential without extreme diets or exhausting workouts. In this video, I'll break down the science of how your body burns fat and share simple, proven strategies for diet, movement, sleep, and stress management that can help you unlock a faster metabolism. Plus, I'll reveal practical tips you can start using today to make fat burning easier and more sustainable, no matter your age. Yes, you can feel lighter, stronger, and more confident with just a few smart changes. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? You can get Chapter 12, Tricky Toxins, for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drgayla.com/links. On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom free, so that you can put an end to common midlife symptoms like chronic fatigue, insomnia, mood swings, issues with gut health, and even weight gain. So now let's start by talking about how the body actually burns fat. We need to understand how this process happens so that you can make smarter choices to boost your metabolism and burn more fat naturally. When you move more and eat fewer calories, this is typically what's suggested, your body does use stored fat for energy. But I will say that it's not that simple. You can't just reduce calories or move more because there's a certain point where your body just adjusts to how it's essentially managing your energy. So, we're going to talk more about that as we move through here. But essentially, what we're wanting to happen is to have your body gradually shrink your fat cells as you're requiring it to use more of the stored fat. This is going to make you healthier overall. The body uses stored fat for energy. So when you exercise or reduce your calorie intake, your body releases energy from fat cells to fuel your muscles and organs. But keep in mind, as I mentioned a moment ago, that this process doesn't work exponentially. So there's a point in time where your body says, I have to essentially do damage control, and your body learns to live off of less and less calories. So the most important thing is that we're shocking our system and that we're using what's known as hormetic stress to force our body to use that stored fat and then shrink the fat cells. So as your body continues to use this stored fat, the number and size of fat cells decrease, and this improves your metabolism and also reduces inflammation because a lot of toxicity is stored in those fat cells. Hormones also play a role in fat burning. And if the hormones released from the fat cells are either helping or hindering fat burning, that's going to have a big impact on how difficult or challenging this process is. So you really want to do your best to keep your hormones balanced, but we want to do that through healthy habits. I have another video on my channel talking about the risks of HRT, hormone replacement therapy. So if you're considering hormone replacement therapy, I encourage you to watch that video before you make a decision. 2021 article published in The Guardian references a book titled Burn: The Misunderstood Science of Metabolism. It was written by Herman Ponzer, and it shows that our metabolism remains pretty steady from age 20 to 60. It really doesn't start slowing down significantly until after 60. So I would say that the body is kind of designed to almost go into retirement mode after 60, and we're wanting to live way longer than that. And so we're going to have to do things that essentially trick our body to not slow down as if it was on some natural clock and the timer was ending at, 70. So we really have to change our thought process about aging and longevity and how we're going to do this in a way that's natural and sustainable. Because if we try to hack things too much, we're going to end up having side effects that are going to be worse than just allowing the aging process to happen naturally. So, the common belief is that middle age weight gain is caused by a declining metabolism, but it really is mostly a myth. Most age related weight gain is driven by genetics and these hormone changes that I mentioned. There are other lifestyle factors like stress and sleep disturbance. Certainly, smoking is going to contribute, but hopefully, you're not smoking or even vaping. And then there's diet, and diet really is more than just overconsumption of food, but more linked to highly processed foods and also foods that your body sees as toxic. And that tends to be pretty unique. So, all of this essentially toxicity is what's contributing to our body's inability to be able to handle the toxic load, and the byproduct is weight gain. And so, if you are genetically predisposed to being a little more, refer to it as being gooey. I definitely have more of a gooey kind of constitution. I'm not just naturally lean. And so it's easier for my body to put on fat, and you may feel like you've got a similar sort of makeup. And so genetics do play a role for sure, but it's up to us to really do things and adjust our lifestyle so that that does not have to manifest as a body that we're not really happy living in. If our diet stays mostly the same through adulthood, then this author says that the cause of obesity is how much and what we eat, not a slowing metabolism. So I don't know that I agree with that necessarily, because I do believe that there's this issue of accumulated toxicity that very few authors really address. The metabolic rate then is going to stay consistent all the way up to age 60. And so he hasn't really addressed what happens for those of us that turn 60 and really start to see some even bigger challenges that we have to address. The important thing to recognize is that if we'll get out in front of this, then by the time we turn 60, maybe things do get a little more challenging, but we don't have things escalate out of control where there's really not a whole lot of easy adjustments we can make that will reverse course. Scientists highlight that reducing processed foods and focusing on healthier foods, I would say more nutrient dense foods, is key to managing weight and supporting long term health. But if you are not focused on eating foods that your body agrees with or that agree with your body, I would say that you're going to end up with a buildup of toxicity, even if you're eating a really healthy diet. So now that you understand how your body actually burns fat and why metabolism really is a crucial role, but not maybe as important as we may have been conditioned to believe, it's time we take a closer look at how your daily food choices, again, this accumulation of toxicity, really makes a big difference. So, I'm going to share simple diet adjustments that can naturally boost your metabolism and help you burn fat more efficiently. So, making small changes to your diet can help boost your metabolism and make it easier for your body to burn fat. You want to focus on certain foods and nutrients that can give your metabolism a natural lift and support fat burning throughout the day. The easiest way to do that is to increase your lean protein intake. Protein takes more energy to digest, which means your body burns more calories when you eat foods like fish or eggs, lean meats. Beans will also help, but they're just not nearly as efficient as eating more meat based protein. Some foods like chili peppers, green tea, berries, and, still a bean essentially, lentils can help increase your metabolism and support fat burning. If you really need to have a plant based meal plan, then you're going to really have an extra level challenge. I've got a whole video coming on plant-based diets for fat burning, but some of the natural things that we're going to turn to are legumes or beans, and then vegetables that have a disproportionate amount of protein in them. Whole grains can help to boost your metabolism and can have a substantial amount of protein in them, but I definitely have found that many people have a challenge digesting grains. They don't really agree with your system. So if you are one of the people that suspects or has known food sensitivities, then it's going to be even more of a challenge to make a plant-based diet work for you. A 2020 research study published on PubMed Central found that a high protein diet is shown in numerous clinical trials to effectively promote weight loss, improve body composition by reducing fat mass, and preserving lean mass. This helps you to prevent weight regain after initial weight loss. Typically, what we find is that any diet works initially. You have great intentions, you stop snacking, you stop the sweets, you are eating healthier food. But then when we return to a more normal way of eating for our life and lifestyle, we'll regain that weight and potentially fat and then some. And so if you have adjusted to eating a higher protein diet, it's really going to help to make sure that you feel satisfied and that your levels of this appetite reducing hormone really are kept high. And the diet induced thermogenesis is kept high as well. This helps your body just naturally burn whatever it is you're consuming. You really want to keep your resting energy expenditure high because we can't be moving all the time. And we want our body to just be working continually, even as I'm doing sitting in a chair right now. So, contrary to some other concerns, current evidence indicates that this high protein diet doesn't harm bone density or kidney function in healthy adults. I would say that I agree with this, with the exception of somebody that is trying to eat a carnivore diet, literally 100% protein, long term protein and fat typically. Your body is just not designed to consume that much protein and to be able to process it. And the byproduct has to exit your body through the liver and kidneys. And this can be really challenging on these vital organs. Long term studies really are needed to evaluate this, but honestly, that's going to be hard to do because, with the exception of people that have some sort of disease that calls for this carnivore diet or a really strict keto diet, it's really hard to get the study to pay for itself and to evaluate just normal people who would be adopting a diet like that. High protein diets increase feelings of fullness and reduce calorie intake because how much steak can you eat? I know if I eat a little filet, I really don't need much and I feel fully satisfied. And this really helps us to preserve muscle during weight loss. So if we're trying to lose weight, increase muscle mass, burn off fat, then this protein really is going to make our life a whole lot easier to get that job done. The protein also has a much higher thermic effect, meaning this thermogenesis. It really is way more efficient than eating carbs. I don't say that you have to eliminate all carbohydrates or try to get your carbs down to under 30 grams. Honestly, you can't even eat a few crackers if you're trying to keep your carbs under 30 grams. But you do need to focus on what protein is going to lead the show so that the carbohydrates that are included in the meal become less of the focus. What tends to happen in our standard American diet is that the carbs fill up the plate and the protein is a garnish, and we need to flip that on its head. The body definitely burns more calories when digesting protein than carbohydrates. Now that you've seen how simple diet adjustments and the right foods can boost your metabolism and support fat burning, it's time to look at another essential piece of the puzzle: adding regular movement and exercise that you enjoy into your routine. This can really amplify the benefits, helping you burn even more fat and feel stronger every day. So, regular movement looks something like walking, or I honestly use a treadmill desk and I really try to track how many miles I've gone between walking outside, getting sunshine and fresh air, and how many miles I put in on my treadmill desk so that I'm keeping myself accountable for how much movement that I take care of every day. And, 10,000 steps is something that's sort of recommended. I don't really worry about that. Honestly, I usually far exceed 10,000 steps, but can really help. There's all kinds of apps you can use now to help you track your steps and really make sure that you're not just sitting for too many hours a day. When we move, we just naturally burn more calories, boost our metabolism, and more importantly, preserve muscle. This is especially important as we age. So, even moderate activities like I mentioned, walking or even dancing, swimming. I'm careful about swimming because I don't like to be in a pool of chemically treated water. But if you really enjoy swimming, that may be something that works for you. Aerobic exercise definitely increases the calorie burn, but it's really easy to take this aerobic exercise to the extreme and sabotage your efforts, especially if you already struggle with adrenal fatigue. So I really prefer that you just use moderate exercise like walking and hiking. Hiking tends to be something that just is naturally high intensity interval training because we'll go up a little bit, maybe takes us a minute to go up, and then we're walking level or down. And so it's just natural activity that really does a lot for your body, mind, and soul. Strength training is really important. You've got to come up with some way to either lift weights or use your body weight as resistance. And this is going to burn more calories, but it's not about calories. It's really more about making sure that you're staying strong and maintaining your mobility. The most important thing here is consistency. If you're going to do something 1 day a week or even 2 days a week, that isn't going to be enough. You're going to need 3 to 5 days a week to really make the improvement compound. And that is going to need to continue over at least 6 to 8 weeks or longer. And so it takes about 6 weeks to establish a new habit. So if you're looking at some of these and you're thinking, wow, I could really improve in this area, I could really improve in that area, take just a couple of things and incorporate them into your life and lifestyle that you know you can stick with for 6 to 8 weeks. And then from there, see how that went for you and add more things that, again, you can layer on something else for another 6 to 8 weeks. If you don't feel like you can be consistent with it, it's really important not to sort of get started and then fail. Failure is obviously a part of life, but many of us have tried to make these changes before, and then we get disappointed in ourselves when we can't stick with it. That's one of the reasons why whenever we do any sort of sprint that's a challenge in the Wellness Warriors membership, I have the first day or two set aside for planning. This really helps to set us up for success. And if we do have a situation where we fail or weren't as successful as we wanted, we take the last day and we do essentially a post-mortem on the process so that we can learn from it and improve things next time. So really, it's not a failure if you know you're going to always be in a state of continuous improvement. Staying active every day, even with light activities, is just going to keep your metabolism running smoothly and make sure that you've got ongoing fat burning happening. A recent Oregon State University study found that even a single session of moderate aerobic exercise can significantly boost the ability of muscle cells to burn both fat and sugar for energy, even for people who are usually sedentary or, don't move a lot. After just 1 hour of cycling at a comfortable pace, so, get out and ride your bike, participants' muscle mitochondria burned 12 to 13% more fat based fuel and 14 to 17% more sugar based fuel compared to a resting day. So, this sugar based fuel is essentially carbohydrates. And so, this isn't just, you eating a Snickers bar and trying to get your body to burn that. Your body turns everything essentially into sugar and then stores it as fat if it can't be burned off quickly enough. So we really need to keep that in mind and not worry so much about sugar. Certainly, sugar is a lot of empty calories, but carbs can do the same thing in our body if we really are not eating things that are otherwise healthy. So these positive effects that I just mentioned fade after a day or two, but if you get a day or two of extra benefit out of it, then this is where our 3 to 4 days a week of factoring in this movement really starts to add up because your body still stays on a heightened level of fat burning for the next day after you have some significant improvement in your life and lifestyle, particularly related to movement. So, making exercise a regular habit really leads to lasting improvements in how efficiently your body can burn calories. I'll share some game changing sleep and stress management strategies for fat burning in just a moment, but it's important to recognize that even the most effective exercise routine can only take you so far if you're not also giving your body the rest and relaxation it needs to thrive. This is an example of one of the countless ways stress creates symptoms and other health issues, especially during midlife. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate symptoms naturally, so I'll make sure to link to it below this video. But make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms stress creates makes navigating through midlife a breeze. And remember, you can get Chapter 12, Tricky Toxins, for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drkayla.com/links. So, as I promised, let's turn our attention to one of the most overlooked secrets for fat burning and feeling your best, and that is quality sleep. In fact, just this week, my focus is on this topic again. It's under the microscope again for my Wellness Weekly newsletter that I write on Sunday, because sleep is just one of those things that we take for granted And when we do that for too long, it just creates all sorts of other health issues that are rarely tied back to this issue of disturbed sleep. So, how well you rest every night can have a powerful impact on your metabolism, your hunger hormones, and your body's ability to shed unwanted fat. Getting enough quality sleep is crucial for a healthy metabolism. Poor sleep can slow your metabolism, increase your hunger, and make it harder for your body to burn fat. So, you really want to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Most adults need this amount to keep their metabolism working at its best and to support fat burning. I will say, though, that we really only need about 6 or 7 hours of sleep. When it creeps up to more like 9 hours, that tends to be because people are not sleeping soundly. And when you're not sleeping soundly, it makes sense that it would take you more sleep to feel rested. Some of the ways that we solve this problem, I explain in some of my other videos on my channel related to insomnia and sleep. So you might search the channel and find some of the other videos there, or subscribe to my Wellness Weekly newsletter. This is one of the topics that we talk about regularly. You can find a link to subscribe to it at drgala.com/links. But just know that you've got to keep a regular sleep schedule. You need to go to bed and wake up at around the same time every day. This honors your body's circadian rhythms and really helps you regulate hormones. And when that's happening, then it's easy to control your appetite, and your metabolism is going to work well as well. We talk about sleep hygiene and some of the things that we do that make it really easier for our body to sleep soundly is creating a cool and dark room. When we sleep in cooler temperatures, can really help to activate brown fat. And brown fat is the good fat that actually burns more calories to keep you warm. In a 2022 clinical trial published in JAMA Internal Medicine, it found that adults who were overweight and extended their nightly sleep by a little over an hour for 2 weeks significantly improved their energy management to the tune of about 270 extra calories being burned compared to the control group. Now, if you're going to tell me that I'm going to burn 270 extra calories just by sleeping an extra hour, you've got my ear. I'm paying attention to that. These people did not change any physical activity or diet. This helped with mood regulation as well and led to a reduction in calorie intake. And so it really improved the body's energy management and resulted in some modest weight loss. The study highlights that improving and maintaining adequate sleep could be an effective strategy for obesity prevention and healthy weight management overall. So, as a reminder, this study just focused on extending sleep for a little over an hour a night and really significantly decreased the amount of food that these people wanted to eat during the day and resulted in burning more calories at night. Now, let's explore one of the most important and often underestimated factors in burning fat: managing stress. The way you handle daily pressures and emotional ups and downs can have a major impact on your metabolism. It's going to impact your cravings and your body's ability to burn fat efficiently. Managing stress is important for burning fat because chronic stress can slow your metabolism and make it harder to lose fat. Simple stress reducing habits can help your body's fat burning processes run more smoothly. You want to practice some relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or even gentle yoga. All of these help lower your stress hormones, cortisol, and the like. And these hormones interfere with fat burning if our body is essentially in fight or flight mode. Another thing we can do is to stay socially connected. Talking to friends or loved ones really reduces stress and also produces oxytocin. And when oxytocin goes up, cortisol goes down. And that is a recipe for only good things. You may also want to spend more time in enjoyable activities or hobbies. Doing things you love can help distract you from any sort of stress you've got going on in your life and promote a positive mindset. And all of this is going to lead to increased fat burning. In a 2024 Ohio State University study, it found that stress is strongly linked to metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that raise the risk for heart disease and diabetes, primarily through its effect on increasing inflammation in the body. The researchers discovered that inflammation explained over 60% of the connection between perceived stress and metabolic syndrome. This highlights the fact that chronic stress has real, measurable physical impact beyond mental health. The findings suggest that simple, cost effective stress management techniques could play a significant role in reducing inflammation and improving overall metabolic health for adults, especially in midlife. Honestly, anything you do to reduce stress is going to improve your overall health and well being, reduce the possibility that dis-ease is going to escalate to disease in your world. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. Remember, you can get Chapter 12 Tricky Toxins for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drgala.com/links. And in my next video, I'll show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally, without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.